Good evening, Mighty Mums. Today's daily revelation number 106 is what is the meaning you're putting to each situation. And I heard this in a podcast today and was listening about, what is the difference between, someone that is really, really successful and someone that constantly hits walls over and over again. And they might go through very similar situations, but ultimately, what they put it down to is what is the meaning you're putting to each situation. Now you might see two people go through the exact same situation, but they get two different outcomes because the meaning they're putting to that situation might be different. So one person might be going, look, this is a really great opportunity for me to learn, to grow and acquire new skills and therefore take me to the next level. The other person goes, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. How could that person do this to me? Why is this situation happening to me? And it causes them to live in that moment and never move on from that moment. So ultimately they never grow, develop, learn new skills to be to the next level. So my question to you is, if you feel like you're constantly hitting walls with life, your health and fitness, whatever it is, ask yourself, what is the meaning you're putting to each situation? Are you looking at it as a negative situation, or are you looking at it like this is the worst thing that's ever happened? How can I move forward from this? Or you're constantly thinking, being a victim and saying, why me? You're blaming this person, this happened, that happened, this happened. But ultimately, it's you taking ownership and it's the meaning you're putting towards it. So my practical tip for you is when you come across situations and life just happens to you as it does and as we all know, is change that meaning and by a simple question. And I use this a lot now, and I heard it once and it's really, really changed my life and in terms of having negative perspectives, to things. And I really, truly believe that this question can really change the meanings that you're putting to each situation. So rather than saying, why is this situation happening to me? Hey Kay, hey Nicole, is ask yourself, what is great about this? And now you're asking yourself a really positive question. What is great about this situation? Which then allows you to go, your brain starts looking for what is great about the situation. So rather than looking at it, why has this happened to me? Why has it not happened to anyone else? I feel like this is constantly happening to me. Is you change that by a simple question. So next time you come across a negative situation, I want you to ask yourself, what is great about this situation? And I always relate it back to myself, and I like to use examples of personal journey is that, the day, some of you may know that my dad was diagnosed with lung cancer. Yes, it was a really horrible day, and, he's doing really well right now. But in that moment, you ask yourself, what is great about this situation? And for me, multiple things came out, brought my family closer together. My relationship with my dad is closer and better than ever before. My appreciation and being grateful for little things in my life, I started to really have this better perspective. But if I looked at it, why is my dad sick and why him? He's only this years old. And, when you start to ask yourself those kind of questions, what kind of outcomes you reckon you're going to ask, or what kind of thought patterns are you going to have with that kind of mindset? It's going to be bad. But see how if you change it, what is great about this situation? Ultimately, you create solutions and your brain is wired to answer the questions that you're constantly asking yourself. So what kind of questions are you asking yourself from every situation? But just the powerful question of what is great about this situation? I guarantee you when you start to get into a habit of negative things happening, and they're going to happen, simply just ask that question. And your brain's going to start to search. It's wired, it's created to search for an answer, negative or positive. But if you look at it and go, why me? What do you think is going to be the outcome? So just this really short revelation, okay, you start to ask yourself what is great about the situation, and I guarantee it's going to start to change the perspective. Okay, have a great night, and I'll talk